An incredible outpouring of support tonight for the Westerville police officers who were killed this past weekend, their families, and the canine who lost his partner. Good evening. I'm Mike Jackson.
And I'm Colleen Marshall. We have team coverage for you tonight. Rob Sneed is live at First Responders Park, which will soon be home to a very special tribute to Officers Anthony Morelli and Officer Eric Joering.
We'll begin tonight with Katie Farrell, who is live with an update on how Officer Joering's canine partner, Sam, is doing tonight. Katie?
Good evening, and we are here at this absolutely amazing memorial. Take a look. Even at this hour, people are still coming by as we speak to drop off mementos. You know, today we learned that Officer Joering's canine Sam is retiring and will stay with Joering's family. Tonight's vigil honored not only the families of Officers Morelli and Joering, but Sam too. It was a hero's escort for fallen officers Anthony Morelli and Eric Joering, and Joering's canine Sam too. In this special procession, a dozen of Sam's fellow canine officers and their handlers. They all trained together with Officer Joering and Sam.
They just let us show the family what they mean to us, what Eric means to us, that we will be here. We're always going to be here for him. Sam's original trainer, Mike Pennington, says Sam is going through a grieving process too. Seeing so many familiar faces, though, was a huge boost.
Those guys would come up to pet him. He knows their odor. His tail wags. He was happy because he's been with them at least once a week. They associate everything by odor, and it just made Sam comfortable because he knew they were part of his group, his inner circle.
Among the crowd were other four-legged officers and their handlers to show support for all three officers. Man's best friend, Sam, missing his. And Sam was escorted by one of Officer Joering's daughters tonight at that beautiful vigil. And where that vigil was held is where we find Rob Sneed. He's there with more on the amazing memorial now being planned for those officers. Rob?
Yeah, Katie, just about everyone I spoke with tonight told me that they knew both those officers, and this is all just too hard.
We shouldn't be here. None of us should be here having to do this for him or Officer Morelli.
A tearful Carrie Hancock, along with her friends, remembers their former classmate, Officer Eric Joering.
Eric was always that person that you could just sit and talk to, and he wasn't going to judge you. Then he never judged me.
He was just a really good guy, just, you know, real down to earth, just friendly, you know, just a good guy.
They, along with this crowd of more than 1,000, are dealing with this tragedy in their own way, but they're leaning on each other.
It's an excellent community, small town, people know each other and they support each other.
It was beautiful. It was just a celebration of, you know, his life, Officer Morelli's life, and it was great to see everybody come together and just celebrate and kind of mourn as a community.
And though they're hurting, many say they can't even begin to imagine what those officers' families are going through.
Just the loss that the families have to go through. And just, you know, the violence is just, we need to keep working on loving each other.
Elizabeth Bolton knows Officer Anthony Morelli.
I remember Officer Morelli in my kids' schools, seeing him all over the place, Officer Joering too, and I've been coming to every vigil I can come to.
And Hancock says she'll be at another one too, but for now, this night helps her remember how blessed she really is.
How I'm lucky enough to go home to my husband. And my heart just breaks for them.
And officials tell me that they plan on building some type of memorial for both of those officers here at First Responders Park. Local for you in Westerville, Rob Sneed, NBC4.
Thank you, Rob. The shows of support for the fallen officers and their families have been incredible. This is a look at the memorial building outside the Westerville Police Department today. You can see it grow throughout the day, as it has for the past several days. And we want to thank all of you tonight who supported those officers and their families.
Our special call for brought in more than $130,000. Some people told us they waited up to an hour to get through because our volunteer operators were just so busy. Now, you can still donate money that goes directly to the officers' families. You can do it at any CME credit union branch. We've made it easy for you. There is a link on our homepage at NBC4i.com.
The president of the FOP says his group has a two-pronged mission now to help the families get through the initial shocking grief and to help them secure their financial futures. Jason Pappas says he is not at all surprised that police from throughout the region, the state, and the country are offering support to the widows and children of Anthony Morelli and Eric Joering, because police know their families might someday need the same thing for the same reason.
We know it can be us. So when this tragedy hits, yes, it hits the family the hardest. And yes, they're the most impacted by this. But every officer out there, and not just in Westerville, but Westerville for sure, every law enforcement officer in Franklin County and any other agency that's been impacted by a loss like this grieves and mourns because they know exactly what those people are going through. It's difficult. It's extremely difficult. And I think that's why I'm so proud of all the other agencies that have stepped up to offer assistance.
Officers Morelli and Joering will be remembered and honored at a joint funeral service on Friday. Their bodies will arrive at St. Paul Church in Westerville at 9:30 a.m. The viewing is open to the public from 10 until 12:30. The funeral service begins at 1 p.m. After the funeral, there will be a processional through Westerville. The route will be made public on Friday. You can count on NBC4 for continuing coverage of the story on air and online at NBC4i.com.